All right, we're back. Time to do an interview with the man, Jordan Holly. But before we do, I'm going to give you guys a quick heads up on what's to come this week for the podcast, and then also the sponsor reads, and then we'll get Jordan on here and talk some shit. Always a good time talking to Jordan because he doesn't mind talking some shit, and he's ready to go today between the Corona stuff and wanting to get some matches. But yeah, this week I have a couple interviews coming up. I have JC Mraz tomorrow from California. He's one of the original scientific wrestling coaches. Definitely enjoy talking to him. Every time I go out to California, I do a seminar at his place. So he's going to be a good interview tomorrow. That's going to be at 6 p.m. our time. Thursday, I have a doubleheader. I have Kent Peters at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then at 7:30, I have Justin Rader, one of the greatest 135ers and 145ers, 66 kilo guys to compete in ADCC and all that stuff. So three really good interviews coming up this week. And I think I have something coming on Friday as well too. But that's what I got going on for now. So let's give a quick shout out to the sponsors. First and foremost, let's shout out Liberty Ammunition, www.libertyammo.com. Use StarLord as your promo code at checkout for 10% off. You cannot put money on your life. There's no dollar amount that will keep you that's worth dying over. So spend a little bit of money, get some quality ammunition at libertyammo.com. From 9mm, 380, 45, all their stuff is great. Then we got NogiNation.com. Jiu-Jitsu and Chill, fuck the IBJJF, all that fun stuff, my company. So if you want to show some love to me, go ahead and NogiNation.com. Then last but not least, we have a Shot of Freedom Whiskey Company. I'm actually drinking it right now while I get ready to talk to Jordan. Go to haveashotoffreedom.com, use code StarLord for 15% off merchandise. You cannot use that code for booze just because it is distributed at the local level and you need a liquor license and all that fun stuff, but they are available in most states, so make sure you go check them out on their website. It'll have a spot for you to put your local address in and stuff like that, and they'll be able to recommend somewhere for you to get it or get it shipped to your house. So now that the sponsor's done, let's bring Jordan on. What's up, dude?
What's up?
Not much, man. How you been?
Pretty good. You?
I can't complain. I know what you've been doing this whole last 7 weeks, so let's get right into it. You are like one of the few gyms I know that has not shut down at all for this Corona bullshit.
Well, not at all. I think, dude, honestly, it sucks for like some of these people that are like more successful than me as far as businesses go. You know what I mean? Because like they
cannot use that code for.
Oh shit! I'm hearing that. Dude.
You're good. That was me.
No, you're good. If they have like giant gyms with all this rent and stuff, like I heard about Tanner Rice has all this rent, dude. Like, yeah, I would be shitting bricks. Like my rent's like super small right now, and like really nobody messes with us. So like, I just tape the windows up and we're running it. You know what I mean? And so I've been closing gaps and widening gaps the whole time. And then luckily with the expenses way that like plates and stuff cost for lifting weights, I had all that. I had all that stuff already like at my parents. So I just pulled it and moved it into the gym. And so I probably have everything. And then I bought an assault bike. I went to Houston, got an assault bike. So we've been killing it. The only thing I'm missing is like some cardio equipment, Yeah. So that's the only thing, really.
That's what you got rolling for. But yeah, dude, like, I know you were getting a lot of shit in the beginning, but like, I definitely am starting to see that you've been right all along. Like, I kind of shut down too, just because I didn't want to be like, we're in Florida, we got a bunch of old people and stuff like that. Like, I didn't want to spread anything, but it seems like more and more we look at this kind of stuff, the more it feels like wool was kind of getting pulled over our eyes, and like it just came out today that the banks made $10 billion in 2 weeks, like just processing these loans and stuff like that. So yeah, dude, I don't know. It's fucking crazy, but it's cool that you guys still got a good group of people and still able to train through all this stuff. And you guys haven't had anyone get sick, have you?
No, nobody got sick. My wife's a nurse, and honestly, she's worked like 6 days this month. Like it's in elective surgery, so it's like it made no sense. Like they're not overstaffed, and like in 1349 there was the Black Death, 90% mortality rate. You would die within a day. What are we talking about here, man? Like I'm like, dude, you're gonna get sick. So what, dude? Then like,
Yeah.
don't you already know not to show up at the gym if you're sick or if you're not feeling good? You know what I mean? So I was like, and another thing is too, like, I have a hard rule. I never watch the news. So I didn't really know it was a big deal. Like I was telling Lana yesterday or this morning, I was like, I didn't even know about the swine flu in 2008 or 2009. Like I was oblivious. I was partying. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
didn't know, and it didn't affect me at all. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm using my white privilege or something, but it didn't affect me. You know what I mean? And this hasn't affected me. Like normally, I socially distance. Anyway, you know what I mean? Because I'm never around anybody. The only people I'm around is my team and my wife. That's pretty much it, And so we just been doing the same thing, I say it hasn't affected me. I lost like probably 20 students, like froze their accounts, which for a small gym of like 55, 60 people, that's a lot,
Yeah,
But
dude.
thank God that the rent and everything is not too expensive, and I'm a cheap date, So we make all our meal prep and everything here, so it's not been too bad, as far as like expenditures or whatever, If the rent was higher or if I had like started the other gym I was trying to do, that the fitness gym already, I would be super stressed. But thankfully I haven't started anything like that yet. So
Yeah, I think that's the biggest lesson I got out of all this because, like, I'm in the same boat as you. My expenses aren't super high. Like, I can't imagine being in a facility where it's like $20,000 a month to run, And like,
yeah.
yeah, you might be banking, but like, you're so big that you're not able to quickly pivot and like make
Mm-hmm.
adjustments when shit like this happens. And I mean, it just fucking sucks to see because I know plenty of gyms that are closed for good. I know plenty of businesses that are closed for good. Like fucking DeBlast today was talking about getting a fucking liquor license for his school because, like, how
That's funny.
crazy is it that we could go to the liquor store, but we can't go somewhere to get healthy,
Yeah. Well, what's crazy too is, man, it's like a grown adult. I'm not forcing anybody to come train. I'm not telling you, hey, man, if you got to come in here, you got to grapple with my team, and you got to train with me. I don't care if you don't want to join my team. If you think I'm a bigot and you don't want to train with me, whatever, dude. That's cool with me, bro. Like I probably don't need you. So like it doesn't matter to me if you want to train with me or not. But like for people to come in and say, all right, you guys are grown adults and you can't make your own decisions that's ridiculous. That's not America, bro. I thought this was America, bro. What the hell?
Yeah, dude, it's definitely
America.
a giant government overreach, and it sucks to see just because, like, we don't know the half of the shit they're putting through and all these bills and stuff like that to,
Oh yeah.
like to get the money out to people and shit like that. Like, dude,
Abortions, all kinds of stuff, dude.
yeah, I mean, they fucking of the $2 trillion they put out in the last one, only 349 billion went to small businesses and shit
Yeah,
like
you ain't
that.
kidding. And that would have covered like even my rent being small. That covers my rent and like they give me like $200 left after electricity. It's pretty much eaten up. I haven't even seen mine yet, by the way. But you know what I mean. And it's like, not only are we in debt or in more debt, but my grandkids and they're gonna be in so much debt for nothing because I got to pay rent one time on a business. Like what the
Yeah,
hell, man? That's
yeah,
why. So my local newspaper called me, or because I put a comment on my deal. I was like, open the businesses, remove restrictions, and they were like, oh, can we talk to you about your opinion? And so I'm like, man, I'm playing Call of Duty, but yeah, I guess. So they call me and I'm like, yeah, dude. And I told them, I'm like, we don't need a loan because they were like, oh, the town was thinking about doing like a small business loan. I'm like, we don't need a loan. Why do we need a loan for? I was like, just open business and let us do our job, and no one needs a loan, dude.
yeah.
And they're like, and she's like, and I was like, we don't need that, this and that. Well, I guess they didn't like what I had to say because they didn't print my story. They printed some other bullshit, but they didn't print my story. So I was like, whatever, dude.
They
But
printed the story from the no touch guy down the road, huh?
yeah, they did. Hey, dude, they had a best of the best for our town or something, and I wasn't even on the list. And I'm like, martial arts gyms. Like the guy that was on the list, the fourth guy was the no touch guy. The first one was like a karate school. I was like, who makes these ratings, dude? What are you kidding me?
I'll walk in there, whoop every 12-year-old's ass. I don't care.
I hit the chi ball so fast. This is the streets, Jordan. No rules.
Oh Jesus, yeah, dude. Like I haven't seen anything. None of my Trump bucks. I haven't even got my tax return back yet.
Me
Like
either.
the government's holding like $5,000 of my money that they just haven't fucking put out. And like I applied for the loan in the first place, and I'm glad I didn't get it because or I'm glad they haven't given it to me yet because now it's just
Yeah.
like, man, I don't want to go into debt for this kind of shit. Like it's not that big of a deal. At first we all kind of like freaked out, like, oh shit, how long are we gonna be closed? What if this goes like fucking 9 months? Who knows? But yeah.
Well, and that's what my initial thing was like. I wasn't so worried, like I say, about rent and stuff, but like I'm trying to live this Spartan lifestyle and be ready to train and be ready to compete God willing, trials this year. You know what I mean? And so, I want to stay ready, and that's my whole life. So I can't just like I got Call of Duty and I got the Bible. I mean, there's things I can do that I do in my off time that's not jujitsu, but everything I have is being poured into being a competitor. So like, my thing was like, all right, am I going to be able to train? You know what I mean? And then when I talked to my guys, I knew that they were about it. And so then I was like, all right, look, how am I going to do this without getting a ticket? I'm like, see, all right, I'll just tape this bitch up. So we taped it up, and literally it's a ghost town in my shopping center. No one's there, and we're not bothering anybody, man. Walmart, Lowe's is packed. HEB is packed. If they're going to get sick, they're going to get sick there. You know what I mean? Like I got the same 10, 12 people every day. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, man. I can't keep up with Josh. I don't even drink, so I drink water. I'll drink water. We'll see how long he can last.
Still drink go to the table.
There
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I was all worried about this shit at first, but now I'm thinking about opening up for some competition, stuff like that. I saw Seth talking about he's going to start doing
in May.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I wonder where he's wanting to do that at, because I would love to do that one. Dude, that'd be cool, dude. You know?
Yeah, dude. I don't know where he was wanting to do that, but I know he talked about for him to like. I was on. You weren't on that podcast with him, were you?
No, it was you and him and Ryan and Oliver, I think.
Oh yeah, I got really drunk for that one. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was talking about how if he's going to do a show, he needs to have like a crowd, because the only reason he does it is for that party feel, you know?
Yeah.
I don't see him doing what Submission Underground's doing, where there's no people there, you know?
Yeah.
So if
they're probably getting bankrolled heavy by the UFC and by Fight Pass.
Yeah, I mean, if you look from a business standpoint, if you look at their promotion materials and all that stuff, it's a Submission Underground presented by Chael Sonnen and UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, and I know what they're getting. I know what the main card guys are getting paid. And yeah, give me some easy fights, man, dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
Banking, you know what I mean? Dude, but yeah, I like at least the fact that they're putting on shows, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What'd you think about the last show?
So the last show was all right. I really think they need to do more than 5 minutes. Now, there's some matches that I don't care about. You know what I mean? Some of those guys, some of those guys on there, it's like, who are these people? And you get to see where there's black belts and there's black belts. You know what I mean? But I think they need to do more than 5 minutes if they're gonna have serious matches. You know what I mean? But if he wants to keep running the thing where it's like UFC fighter, Bellator fighter versus pure grappler, dude, I can sub anybody in less than 5 minutes, dude. Especially guys that have never trained leg locks. So, I loved it for the main event. I loved it for the main event because it could have ended the way I thought it was going to end. I was telling people, was like, man, he's 30 pounds lighter than Vinny, and Vinny's never been tapped except for by Hodger. I was like, Gordon didn't tap him. I'm like, man, I don't think he's going to leg lock him. I was like, I don't think he's going to finish in 5 minutes. And then he broke him off twice with that. It was just basic entries. And so I was like, I really enjoyed that. You know what I mean? That was the best way to finish it. Because I thought it was going to go to overtime because he was better at overtime. But so I like the main event.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was good too. And I know you and I both love Craig, and we've been boys with Craig for a long time. But I really saw Vinny winning that in overtime because he's, like you said, he's bigger, 30 pounds heavier. And I mean, Vinny just fucking let him get on his legs because he didn't think he was going to get subbed. You know, like, it's not like he was trying to stop Craig from getting on his legs. He's like, I'll let him crank on my feet for 5 minutes and then I'll fuck him up in overtime. But
there's guys, and Gordon is great at leg locks. Don't get me wrong, he's not bad at leg locks for any stretch of the imagination. But then there's it's like so many levels to that. You know what I mean? And Craig is better at leg locks than Gordon is. You know what I mean? Like, Gordon's a better grappler, I think, overall, and obviously stronger, bigger, right? But Craig has a special skill set that makes him a better leg locker purely in that one niche area. You know what I mean? And so I was like, he could do a Jordan and go out there and heel hook this fool quick as hell. You know what I mean? And so, I think that really played through because I remember watching, and I don't recall it 100%. I didn't watch it live, but Gordon versus Vinny a couple years ago, whenever it went down, and he did the second defense. You see, he tries to pull on Craig is similar to what he did with Gordon, where he's like just posted up. And I kept watching that match thinking, why didn't he just roll over his face and turn that into a heel hook? And I guess he could have, you know what I mean? Because you see Craig did it. He just rolled right over his face, and the heel hook was belly down right there. Oh, cringy, dude.
Yeah, dude, Craig's leg retention is something that people don't really talk about. Like, Gordon's a good leg walker, but he more willingly transitions to other things. So he's trying to use the legs to get to the back. And Craig's got a really good back game too. And we saw that because at Kasai, he had that match with Tex Johnson, and I actually got the corner for that. And we were both talking about it in the back. It's like, yeah, you can get a leg lock shootout with Tex, but you're going to finish him if you get to the back. So,
oh yeah.
they're very similar, the Gordon and Craig situation, because they have a similar game, but Craig is definitely a much better finisher when it comes to getting on the legs than Gordon. He reminds me a lot of like Eddie Cummings, because Eddie was all about the legs, but you didn't see his back game till the end, when he was kind of towards the downturn of his career.
Yeah, same thing with he fought Gabriel Arges at Grapple Fest. Yep. Didn't really do much leg locks, just kind of went and he ended a body lock, and then dude turned, I believe, and he got a back take and choked him. Yeah, it's something good there, man. The guys that are really good leg lockers you're gonna see are like not so. I mean, they're able to defend their own feet while they attack, and so they just initially like a piranha on the legs, and you got to be like that if you're gonna finish with leg locks. If you're thinking too much, like too scientific with it, sometimes screw you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it ain't gonna get perfect. You know what I mean? Sometimes the best way to heal somebody is just to let it rip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, you just got done with Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, and you looked really good there, but you didn't fucking leg lock anybody.
No, I didn't leg lock anybody.
I know. You went out there. It
was scaring me, dude, because I was like sitting there and I was like, man, I do Jiu-Jitsu a lot. But Eddie's like talking about, he's like, it's different shit. It's different shit, bro. Like, you got strikes, and then the half guard won't work. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, my favorite position is Z guard. Oh my God, I play half guard. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? So I'm sitting here like, dude, what do I do? So I was like, all right, let's see what happens. And then I knew my first opponent had one hand. So I was like, well, he can't collar tie with his left hand. So he's going to stand right foot forward. I'll scissor like this dude. So that worked out good. And then the second guy, Sam, I was like, well, maybe he'll shoot. And he started like juking me on the feet. I think he's wrestled before. And I was like, shit.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler.
Yeah, but he ended up shooting, and my sprawls are really good. So he got DARs. But yeah, I would have liked the leg lock. I think I should have been more liberal with the leg locks with Burbage. Because if you look what happened with Halpin got him, you know what I mean? And all respect to Tom. I think Tom's a great dude. And first time I met him, I think I could have beat Tom. And I think I could have beat Burbage. I definitely could have heel hooked him if I would have fell on it more. But I was like, I'm still kind of in that mindset, man, where it's like position before submission as far as even leg locks go. You know what I mean? Whereas the meta kind of moved to get the heel, climb the leg. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of times you can retract, get the leg back. And I've been working a whole lot of that in the gym. But you can get the leg back, the knee line rather back. And dude, for the longest time, the meta was like, you better have the knee line and then scoop the heel, And so if you see the knee line gone, it's almost ingrained in you to be like, all right, man, let's move on. Let's get on top. You know what I mean? So I think that was it. I think it was like that. And then the advent of strikes made me like, man, I don't know. It's a different thing, And then whenever you started doing it, you realize, man, the dude with better jiu-jitsu is going to win. Whenever they try to strike, as long as you don't shell up and do some whack defense and you attack, dude, your jiu-jitsu is going to play through, So
yeah, dude, 100%. And like you were talking about the meta of leg locks changing, like it really in the last like 6 months, you see more and more people going for that heel hook grip and then getting their leg entanglements right off of it too. Because once you get that grip on the heel, it's much more difficult. I think what it is people have gotten really good at slipping the heel. So when you have the entanglement and then you're trying to get your bite on the heel, it gets much more difficult than if you go ahead and get your bite first and then you wrap up their legs as well.
Yeah, because if you have the bite, one, it's a good grip to hold if you hold that false grip. But two, as soon as your legs like make any kind of entanglement, it doesn't have to be one that I'd write down in a textbook and say this is this or this is this or whatever. It didn't have to want. It could just be some just pinching in the knees. That's it, dude. It's over. You know what I mean? Whereas like everybody knows, like once you get into entanglement, they look, all right, my legs on this side, that side. All right, I turn my heel in. You know what I mean? And that that's game over. So I've enjoyed it, dude. I got Giles DVD. I think I'll go out and say I think Lachlan Giles is the best coach ever, dude, on DVDs. Like, man, I learned more from his. I've got all the Don Hurt DVDs, and I have a majority of Giles stuff. I learned more from that dude than I've learned from anybody. So
yeah, dude, Lachlan is something special because he's got that PhD in physio science or whatever they call it over in Australia. Yeah, and I actually I have a weird connection with him because one of their guys over there, his name is Reed Reel. He now works for the UFC and the Performance Institute. He was over there with them for a long time, and he's also got a PhD, and he's like a high-level black belt. And he lived down here in Sarasota for like 2 years, and they all had that like same mentality where it's a very scientific approach of breaking things down. And just because of their high-level schooling background, they are able to just dissect that position so much easier.
Oh yeah, and then ways to break it and stuff like that. Because like even like saw on I'm not gonna put people out there, but I saw on Submission Underground some guys getting to heel hooks and like no breaking mechanics whatsoever. Like it's just
dude.
Tough, dude.
I know we talk about it a lot, but like it's really crazy to see that people still don't understand like the fundamentals of leg locking. At least like and very specifically in the braking mechanics. Like most people's braking mechanics are bullshit, you know.
Oh, terrible.
And like at first when I saw Craig doing it too, I thought his mechanics were off a little bit till he adjusted. But yeah, man, even at the highest levels. But then again, like when you're under pressure and shit like that, it's so hard to like keep that shit going. It's something you really have to drill into your mind.
Yeah, if you don't do it all the time in the gym, it's gonna really be hard for it to come out. Like I'll give you an example. That Darce that I hit, dude. Like I wasn't doing many chokes, you know what I mean? But up until leading up to the deal, that's one of the things. Like right before the show, I thought I was like, man, dude, if I sprawl on somebody, you know, I've been hitting this Darce from the head arm. I mean, from the front headlock all the time. I'm like, it's a legitimate, you know, way I could get that. But if I hadn't been doing that over and over and over and over and feeling that in the gym, it wasn't gonna happen in the comp mats, you know.
Yeah. So when you're training, how much of it is actually like drilling and how much of it is more like experimenting and rolling?
So I used to do a lot more drilling when I was coming up, especially like blue, purple belt, stuff like that. Like I've spent, Solana, I spent tons of time drilling the Craig Jones DVD over and over and over again, you know, to get really good at the reverse X's and stuff like that. But I think it was a diminishing return. One time I listened to Eddie Bravo on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he was like, yeah, the best way to get good is to slay blue belts. And by that, he meant guys that know something but don't know so much that it makes you roll 100%. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like it's like target practice. And so I do that a lot. And I'd say in a typical class, we do, like I say, 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of technique. And then and you know, a little bit of drills, what you would assume is a typical jiu-jitsu class, you know. And then we do positional work, which is like, you know, pass sweep drills. And mainly because like my guys and everybody in general should look at jiu-jitsu as like, if the guy passed my guard, I'm pissed. You know what I mean? If he swept me, I'm pissed. You can't just look at the macro like, oh, I subbed him in the end. Well, that's great, and you won the match, but we're not going to improve if all we focus on is the end result. You know what I mean? And so we do the pass sweeps, and the pass sweeps have submissions in them. So like if you're on top and your objective is to pass the guard right, and you want to drop back on a leg lock, that's totally Gucci. But if you drop back on a leg lock, you don't finish that leg lock. Guy gets out of the entanglement. You lost that. You go back to the wall. You know what I mean? So then we do that for like 20 or 30 minutes. And then I'll do EBI rounds for 10, 15 minutes where you start on the back or the arm bar, and you can kind of pick depending on what you're working on. You know, I may change the rules up every now and then. And then we'll free roll at the end of class. And again, that's from something I listened to Ben Askren talk to Joe Rogan about on the podcast. He's like, the way the jiu-jitsu gyms train is retarded. You know, they do, you know, 30, 40 minutes of technique, and the people don't remember, and then they get a few reps, and then they let them free roll, and they see that position once or twice. You know what I mean? Whereas like an Olympic training facility, like really good gyms, they put it in wrestling, high-end wrestling, like Olympic style. They put you in that position. They're like, all right, here's a front headlock. You go here and you get opportunities to hit the move that maybe you learned that day, you know? And I noticed that a lot at my coach's gym at Rodrigo's in Brazilian Fight Factory. He told me about that. He's like, to build a good no-gi team, you need to put them in positionals. You need to put them in front headlocks. You need to line everybody up on front headlocks. You need to say, all right, you know, you're in a front headlock and your objective is to hit the take. Both of y'all have to take down. You know what I mean? One of y'all just starts in a really bad spot, you know, so that you're used to being there. So that's pretty much what we do, you know what I mean? And then some days it's fun though, you know, we keep the jiu-jitsu spirit up, like we'll just roll, you know what I mean? Like Sundays, usually the open mats, just like do whatever you guys want. And like, obviously they can drill if they want, and nobody ever does. We just roll, you know? So it's whatever to me.
Yeah, dude, I've been hearing more and more, and like we do a lot of positional shit in my gym too, but I've been hearing more and more from the people like I've been interviewing that like the great coaches, like Zach Edwards was on today, and he was saying that most of the shit they did at Bethlehem is positional work. And you're saying Rodrigo does it, and I know the DDS guys do a lot of positional work and shit like that too. So I really think there's a lot to be done there, you know, like. And what Askren is saying, you're not going to get to those positions unless you're good enough. You're talking about slaying blue belts and shit like that. We have like this concept of the 70-30 rule. It's like 70% of the time you should be rolling with people who are not as good as you, and 30% of the time you should be rolling with the killers to get that push on and stuff like that. Just because, like you're saying, I remember when I started, I was like the only white belt in a class full of like purple, brown, and black belts. And it was a very traditional school, so they did like a lot of mounted arm bars. And to this day, I still don't go for mounted arm bars because from that time on, I would try and I would just fucking lose it. I'd lose it. And you never get to get the confidence and the technique and shit like that.
Yeah, it's going to take so long for you to hit that move. It's ridiculous. Now, maybe if they'd have started you in mount, you know, with the maybe purple belt or something, you get closer, you know what I mean? But to think that you're going to, let me say, funny.
That's talking shit to you.
My dad. To think that you're gonna get there on a brown black belt and you're a white belt, it's probably not likely. You know what I mean? And that's what happens most times. Like a couple things happen. One, even if they are good enough, most people, 99% of people aren't going to be disciplined enough to take it to a new area of the game. You know what I mean? Like they're just going to go wherever they feel comfortable at, and so their game doesn't really develop. And then especially if it's something they just saw, one time I dropped in at Paragon in Austin and that same thing happened. They taught, it was a gi class. It was like I used to be a faker, and they what do you call it? They taught some reverse de la Riva technique or whatever. And then they did a positional and they're like, everybody starts in reverse de la Riva. And they were like, you can do that technique. You can do any technique you want. You can switch to a different guard, whatever you want to do. But they gave that opportunity for you to use what you just learned. So even if you were a white belt, maybe you only trained 3 months, now you have the opportunity to try that move out. You know what I mean? So if you don't have like a lot of tools in your toolbox, So I like that. I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, dude. So before I start talking about you're like 2019, early 2020, John Hansen has a comment here. What do you think is the best way to work on braking mechanics?
Man, for sure you need to understand what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like I think that if you don't understand the concepts at first, then you definitely need to like have a guy sitting there and then you look at it and work it. And you also have to understand that like there's a difference between a 50-50 heel hook and there's a difference between a 411 heel hook or a saddle position heel hook, and it's really mainly dictated on the way your wedges are placed. They stay kind of the same, but the foot needs to rotate to its maximum before the kinetic energy will travel to the knee. So it's important that you get somebody that knows what they're doing. Most coaches are just telling you to fucking grab the heel and twist because they've never done a heel hook, So it's important to reach out to Star-Lord or me or somebody and find out what to do with a heel hook. You know what I mean? Most of these DVDs and stuff are going over entries, and entries are great, but if you don't know how to finish, then it doesn't do much good to you. So learn how you got to rotate the foot. Usually it's the toes going back and the heel coming up towards your face, and then apply that pressure with your hips too. So I think for sure you need to be able to do that slowly and controlled, and don't just rip into that on your training partners, and then you can start trying to do it in rolls, because like I say, if you can't do it in rolls, if you can't do it with full resistance, you're never going to pull it off in competition. But for sure, understand the mechanics of the move, just like any other move. In like a isolated scenario, I would honestly have somebody, just one of your training partners, whoever is drilling with for the day or whatever, your buddy, sit there and be like, all right, do you feel this in your knee? And they should feel it 99% of the time, and their foot should tighten up first and then their knee. So anytime I've ever broke somebody, it's always been a rip sound in their foot, and I don't want you to rip your friend. But what I'm saying is, you'll feel that knee will give before. The foot will give before the knee will. So they'll feel it in the foot, and then once the foot it stops turning, then it'll travel up to the knee. And it just logically makes sense if you think through these things. If you think through a lot of your jiu-jitsu, you'll come to understand it a lot more. The one thing I can tell a student, for as far as like getting better on your own, don't just come to class and get fed whatever the coach is giving. It's great. I think you should totally listen to your coach. I'm not saying not to listen to your coach. What I'm saying is the best students and the guys that improve the quickest are guys that, they study their game, they understand what's going on, and they have something to work on, and they come to their coach with questions. Your coach likes questions, unless he's a fraud. If he's a fraud, he's not going to like questions, because then you're going to know the answer and he's going to freak out, right? But if the guy's legitimate, he's going to like questions. I love when my guys have questions. It gives me something to go off of. So.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree with that. Like, I think braking mechanics are because I'm not a big driller. I'm kind of more like that Kit Dale approach, where it's like mind mapping and shit like that, rather than sitting there and drilling things, just because my brain doesn't work like that. And I think as an instructor, you need to recognize like how people learn in different ways and stuff like that. So, but as far as braking mechanics, I think those are one of those things you actually have to sit there and drill. Like you're saying, have someone come in and show it first, and then like videotape it and just spend a lot of time doing it. Because even now, like I'm finding new ways to break people, and I'm dissecting positions down a lot more in depth, especially when it comes to leg locks and stuff like that.
Some things you got to drill like that. It's what you wouldn't think. Like the entry is less. You need to do less drilling entries than, instead of like, how you use the elbow to whack the heel. Yeah. Bro, if you're not ready to like follow the guy rotating as a 411 heel and whack, that's something that needs to be drilled, because I mean that has to be automatic. And if your body like, you don't walk into the gym just naturally sprawling, right? You're not gonna walk into the gym whacking toes either. So
yeah, dude, and you said something really specific about that, is like starting the rotation of the foot before the bridge. I call it taking the slack out of the joint, you know? So that's something that's really big because like a guy like Vinny, who's super flexible, can move his foot all the way around. And there's plenty of guys like that. Look at the Meow Brothers. You have to remove as much slack from the joint before you start applying your braking power. And I break it down into braking mechanics and braking power, you know? So the mechanic is removing everything away and then you add the power at the end. But
it's like Donner had one more. Well, Donner had a good quote one time. I like some of his analogies. And he said, like a toe hold. On a toe hold, you push the toes down and then you break it by pulling the elbow back like a Kimura. And he said it was like you have a rope hanging from the ceiling. You wouldn't just take your knife and start cutting the rope. You got to pull that taut and then cut it, you know?
That is a really good analogy. And dude, like the more you think about leg locks, like at least for me, and everybody's different, but for me, leg locks are 90% toe hold mechanics just with different grips. You know, whether it's a heel hook or an ankle lock and all that stuff, you're still trying to get that rotation in the foot and then break it sideways, you know? So yeah, that's something I think about a lot as well. So let's talk about your fucking killing spree that you went on in 2019 and the end of, or beginning of 2020 before all this Rona shit.
Yeah.
Shugio, Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, Submission Underground. Yeah, there was another one in there too. You went up to New York. You did what was
Sogi.
that?
I did a couple Sogis.
Yeah, you did.
I did a main event Sogi, and then I did a tournament Sogi too. The feed wasn't as good, so you probably haven't seen those matches. Which it was quick. There wasn't much to watch. I was all set subs pretty quickly. The Shugio, man. The Shugio was, man, that was a great event, dude. I got a call on that like 2 weeks before, like a week and a half before it was supposed to go down. And it was underground. I'd never heard of it. I remember calling you and like, hey, have you heard of this? What is that? And I'm like, I have no idea. And luckily, the one thing is I usually have to get ready for is weight. So, because usually I'm eating like an asshole. And luckily it was a 55. So he's like, oh, it's 55, which is like my highest weight class I'll compete at. And he's like, yeah, it's 55. And I'm like, well, what's the deal? How much do I pay to enter? And he's like, nothing. I'm going to pay you 400 to show. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, you're going to pay you 400 to show. It's 1,000 for fastest sub, 5,000 to the winner. And I'm there. You know, I didn't even ask who the people were in it, you know. He's like, you don't want to know? And I'm like, no. He's like, you're the only person that hasn't asked me who's in the tournament. Like, dude, I want to fight everybody. So let's do it. And so we got down there. It was good. My bracket was favorable. And got a couple heel hooks on Domingos and Weisenberg, who both guys are really good. You know, legends in the sport. Especially Weisenberg, who's a little less known probably than Domingos in the community. But man,
he had a fight to win title match right after that too.
Yeah, he beat Richie Martinez at ADCC Trials by a bunch of points. Like the guy's hard to tap, man. He won the Iowa Jordan Pietzman's event at 170. So you know, me, Ethan Krellinston, and Keith were probably the only guys that could have made 45. If you were to say, oh, you know, let's make 45. You know, all those dudes were, and I was the shortest, so those dudes were quite a bit bigger, you know, for that event. That was a good event. I ended up walking away with 1,000 for the sub there, and got a good match with Nathan Orchard too. The other one, let's see, I did the Third Coast against Marvin.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, won that in overtime. I think I should have just went for, you know, upper body and attack. You know, if I would have known. You know, I got really egotistical with the leg locks, and something that I got away from is having to prove something with leg locks now. You know what I mean? Instead of worrying about that, and normally if the guy even leg locks at all, I'll just pass a guard and crush him, because I think that, you know, my favorite MMA fighter of all time is GSP, because the dude was good everywhere. You know, he was adequate everywhere, so he could take you wherever you weren't so good and beat you there. You know, so being able to do everything, I think, is really key. You know what I mean? If you think a guy can leg lock at all, why give him an opportunity? You know what I mean? If there's strikes involved, why be on bottom? You know, unless you just know this guy doesn't know leg locks. You know, and so I did those. I don't even know honestly the days for the Sogis. I did a couple of Sogis. I did one against Nick Gulo, who's a Brown out of Matt Serra's gym. The DDS kind of
solid too.
Yeah, solid guy.
That was a bet match too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a bet match. I bet 400, and he bet 400, and I took the 800. I got a flying scissor in the beginning, and then as we're getting out of the entanglement, his knee popped. And then I got him with a outside heel hook from Fat Boy, and then that was good. So I got the.
And you won the Jacksonville one too, right? When you got your black belt.
Yeah, Jacksonville
too. You fucked all those guys up.
Yeah, 2019 was big, dude. It's crazy. It almost feels like a long time ago.
Yeah. It's only open with like the last year and like 2-3 months, but it feels like forever ago.
Hell yeah, Jacksonville was a 16-man, and I tapped 4 people, subbed them all. 2, 1, 2 heel. Let's see how many. 3 heel hook, no, toe hold, 2 heel hooks. I just done your seminar and I did that toe hold off Fat Boy.
Yep.
And then I did 2 heel hooks and a rear naked choke in the finals.
Yep.
So that was good. Yeah, that's something I always want to do, to the RNC. So that was in the very beginning. I got to hang out with my boy Landon Mack. So that's always exciting. So we hung out that weekend, and what do you call it? Let's see. Then Sogies, we did both Sogies. I did Gulo, and then I was supposed to fight J.M. Holland, and they got pink eye. Yeah, they got pink eye.
Oh yeah, from ADCC. Yeah. That fucking Craig Jones shit.
Yeah, fucking Craig Jones. And so I get there, and luckily, so Zach got it too, because they're friends and they train at the same gym, they own the same gym and stuff. And so Jack didn't have an opponent either. So Pizzo, who was like in the whole
that guy was tough.
DDS click or whatever, took the no time limit match, and I don't think he was ready for like that kind of format. Maybe I don't think he kind of understood, because he was going for subs, like trying to like guillotine me from top, and I'm like, this is not something that that leads itself to a longevity in a match. You can hear the guy going squeezing as hard as he can, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna get tired quick. And he was tough though, wrestler for sure, real tough, and I ended up getting a heel hook there too. And then let's see where we went after that. No, Submission Underground, last minute thing there.
That was a Frank Rosenthal match, right?
Frank Rosenthal match, yeah. What's crazy is, let me get on Submission Underground for a minute. So what's crazy?
Yeah, let's stay on Submission Underground.
What's crazy is that I got set up as the fall guy for Frank. That was them setting me up as a fall guy, and you can listen to the commentary the whole time. Who's Frank Rosenthal? They do the DDS, and their leg locks are so revolutionary, and all this crap, right? All this stuff goes on, and oh, blah blah blah, this and that, right? And I'm set up as the fall guy, last minute replacement for this dude, right? And he didn't respect my leg locks, none of that, right? I beat the brakes off this guy for 5 minutes. I out leg locked him. I had him in Tony Montana. The only thing that saved him was, I guess they walk around in heels or something up there, and they got his feet turned enough to where he couldn't get the heel hook. Fine. He didn't do anything offensive. Then I passed his guard in less than a minute and hold him in side control and mush his face. 5 minutes of complete domination. And you're still hearing about, oh, the Danaher guys, and they did so good and this and that. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. I trained in small town Victoria. And then we get to overtime, and I improve on one of the areas that if you followed me, you know that overtime is shit, and I ended up face crushing this dude. And I just think it's astounding, dude, that I was put up as the fall guy for that. End up crushing this fool. And then what do you call it? People were like, oh yeah, I give you another badass match on Submission Underground. I'm like, bro, I want a UFC fighter, dude. I want to get paid to go out there and smoke some of these dudes. You know what I mean? Because 5 minutes is not long enough to contest a real match, like against Ethan Crelinson or something that I really want. I do want, or John Calistine, definitely want the match, right? But I don't want to do it in 5 minutes, dude, because if you could sub somebody in 5 minutes, dude, they weren't that good to begin with, dude. Like y'all are a mismatch. Like that dude was not really high level, you know what I mean? And I would hate to burn a good match like that on a card like that. You know what I mean? I took the Frank match because I couldn't get one with him otherwise. They were asking for apparently a crazy amount of money to fight me on Third Coast when we were trying to make it. And so then I guess he accepted it here because he probably got paid, even though I didn't. And he got mushed, you know what I mean? So now, of course, he wants a rematch. But why would I rematch somebody that's not – I mean, he needs to go train and get better, you know what I mean? Why would I rematch somebody that I beat the shit out of? And so, yeah, that went down, and that was good. That was huge for me. And then we did combat jiu-jitsu, which I'm supposed to be on 55 combat jiu-jitsu, but I heard that California shut down for the year. Now, that was earlier. That was a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know if they've changed that, right? But I think Eddie should bring it to Texas, you know what I mean? Do it freaking on it, Austin 10th Planet, you know? Like they did that. Yeah, they did the absolutes there, you know, so they should do it there. But yeah, and at first I didn't want to get slapped by Wagner, but then I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I was like, this is EBI, this is Eddie Bravo. I was like, I have nothing to lose, so I'll do the 50. I can't turn down matches at 45 and 55. Just can't do it. I don't care how much weight they got to cut, you know. So so hopefully we get to do that again. And then the 45ers went real well. Got 2 subs pretty quick, and then the third match was overtime again. Burbage cut a lot of weight, man, and like I hate these excuses, man. But that dude was better at overtime than I was. Yeah, I made a mistake, and man, every time I would spin, I couldn't get like turned. You know what I mean? It's like he wrapped all the way around my hips with his legs.
Super long legs.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, what the hell is going on here? And so I ended up losing OT there, but definitely excited to get back on that and compete again for them too, you know. But I think that the way it's looking, dude, that Third Coast I'll be back around in June, I hope. And obviously Seth's saying fight to win. First he said it was going to be the Purge, and now it's going to be. Now we're doing Vince in May, so I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should bring my knife from Dark Relic Company or what. Get ready for the fight, but yeah, hopefully we'll do fight to win, and Third Coast will keep schedule with June and stuff. Because shit, I was supposed to go to England too to fight Ash Williams on their card with the England card, but I guess that's happening probably next year. So I was excited to go across the pond, But we'll see what we'll see what happens, And Alana won the women's under, was it under 160, under 170? I think it was under like 160 or under 170 women's purple belt, and she tapped everybody. Oh no, didn't tap everybody, but she dominated everybody like 12 or 15-0 in both of her matches, and then a sub on a world champion in the finals. So
shout out to Alana, Mrs.
Shout out to Alana. She just got home from work, so she does the real job. I just sit home and play Call of Duty and train.
Dude, that's how I'm feeling right now too, because my wife's still working at like she runs a fitness center for a country club. Like the gym's closed, but she's still working. I'm sitting around here. She's like, "What'd you do today?" I'm like, "Oh, I podcasted and played Call of Duty."
Yeah,
she's
I know.
Like, fuck you. I'm like,
yeah.
Hey,
So what are you doing? And I'm like, same thing I was doing when you left, playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, dude. So before we get into Call of Duty, let's talk about some matches that you want to get, because I know you already smashed Frank. You were supposed to have Damien, and it's like, as much as I love Ryan and Thurko, it's like, why the fuck are you gonna put that shit together? Like, there's like Damien's still a fucking purple belt. He's like, no, I'm not gonna shit on Damien because I like him. He's a nice guy, but it's just not.
There's different levels. There's levels in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You talked about Krellinston, you talked about Calistine, and you said probably not on Submission Underground because it's like you said 5-minute matches.
Yeah, it's 5-minute matches.
Who would you like to have a match on a Submission Underground? Because it seems like they're doing more events.
I would like them to let me know soon so I can know what my weight needs to be. But if I was gonna be on one soon, really anybody, man. Chael can talk it up. I don't think MMA guys can grapple. So, we could get a guy Bellator fighter, UFC fighter, anybody really, man. AJ Agazarm, whatever. Doesn't matter to me, you know what I mean? But I just would need to know about the weight soon. But yeah, John Lineker, Uriah Faber. I don't even know if he's competing.
Uriah Faber, yeah, because he just did that quintet not too long ago.
Yeah, I would do say Cub Swanson, but I don't want to blow his knee out again. So I know he doesn't. We know he doesn't know how to defend Reap. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to mess his knee up again. He looks like a nice guy, and so yeah, dude. Anybody really? I think Chael
match would be insane.
That would be cool. And I know Chael can sell matches. You know what I mean? And so I know he could spin the angle with the whole UFC fighter or whatever against grappler or whatever. So and I'm willing to talk shit. So
that's what he likes to do. So Cub Swanson, John Lineker, who I'd like to see that Wilson Hayes would be a good one, because like up until what's his face, the dude that you flying scissored, the 10th Planet guy, combat jiu-jitsu guy, the Mushroom Kid. God damn it. Ben Eddy. Ben Eddy was like the only one to tap him in fucking forever. And I think you would have a good match with Wilson Hayes. I think that'd be a good one to see if you're looking for UFC guys. So now we're talking grapplers. You already said Krellinston, you said Calistine. They were supposed to do Williams over in.
Williams have been good.
Who else you got on your mind?
Oh man, I had somebody else too in my head too. Williams.
Oh, hey, you know who you wanted? Imanari.
Oh, Imanari, yeah, for sure. Imanari, any of those guys, legends that I could compete with that, maybe won't be competing much longer. You know what I mean? Those are like last chances. You know what I mean? To fight those kind of guys.
Yeah, dude.
Man, I had somebody else in my head too, dude, that I was wanting to fight too. I guess I didn't want to fight him too bad, right?
Yeah, I guess not.
I guess not. Right, but yeah, pretty much anybody, man. 45, 55 doesn't matter to me. Right now, probably 55. If you're telling me it's in the 31st, I haven't even checked my weight. So, why are you laughing for, dude?
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, so let's talk about Call of Duty. You are a fucking real good search and destroy player.
I'm sweat on that game, dude.
That's all you fucking play.
All I play, because I tried to play. I tried to play what do you call it, Warzone with Jay Little and stuff. One of my friends, but like, bro, it's like playing Skyrim, dude. Like, I gotta find people, and then like. After I find them, like it's core, so they all have like, and they got body armor, so it's like, dude.
Hey, before we talk, what's it fucking called? Call of Duty. Someone in the comment section said Shinya Aoki. That'd be a fucking.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. Aoki. Man, I'm trying to think of some of these other guys though, bro. But Aoki's a good match. Shit, dude.
It's all right. You'll fuck him up in jiu-jitsu, but you're gonna fuck him up even worse in Call of Duty.
You ain't kidding, dude.
Like, when the hell are you gonna start playing like professional video games? Because
Bro, I was trying to Twitch. I was trying to Twitch, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. You know what I mean? I did the what do you call it? I download the app, but I didn't get the what do you call it? I gotta go buy that kinetic sensor or whatever. I used to have one on my original Xbox One, and then I sold it or I got rid of it or whatever, and now I got an Xbox, but I don't have the kinetic sensor. So I'm gonna get that so I can hopefully do a Twitch stream and just play Call of Duty all day. But
yeah, dude, I gotta get a video card so I can start streaming to Facebook because that's where it's at, man. Like Twitch is cool like that, but like just fucking doing podcasts. Like like my fucking morning breakdown got fucking 12,000 views the other day. Like imagine we sit here and get like some jiu-jitsu guys playing Call of Duty. Like you'd be fucking crazy.
Well, and then you could get like different communities. You know what I mean? Like you could start. Yeah. I did a post the other day with like with hashtags for video games and shit. And I was just thinking like, oh, that's a different community because I never post about playing games. You know what I mean? But I do. I used to play World of Warcraft, man, for like 12, 14 hours a day.
Too, yeah.
I used to play the shit out of that before I did jiu-jitsu, you know?
Dude, I almost started my account back up too.
Dude, I don't have a PC strong enough. The one I'm using right now is Alana's MacBook, and it couldn't handle WoW. So, and I would be pissed, so I'd have to go buy like a whole setup and everything.
Dude, I don't even have time for that shit either.
I don't either. You really don't. You know,
James Jurgen's trying to play with us, and he's trying to say Plunder. I'm like, bro, I do not play Plunder.
I don't even know what Plunder is.
Plunder. I'll play either Warzone or Hardcore Search. That's the only shit I play.
I like Hardcore. See, I came up, and the reason I play Hardcore Search, let me explain myself. The reason I play Hardcore Search is because it requires more skill. Because you can't just, here's the thing. I came up playing a game, and I don't know if you know it, SOCOM US Navy SEALs. Yep. It was on PlayStation 2, I believe, before there was Xbox Live, before there was a PlayStation Network, and it was just like each game had its own online service. And so the game came with a little headset, a rinky-dink headset. You couldn't hear no footsteps, but it was a rinky-dink little headset, and it was revolutionary. It was like I could communicate with my team. It was great, dude. And before Game Battles, it was SOCOM Battles, and they changed the name of the website and everything, and used to play competitively on there. And so like I was like the number 3 sniper in the world. Like I loved playing Call of Duty. I mean, not Call of Duty, but SOCOM. And so like that game had no respawns, none. Like there was no respawns. Like so, the first time I ever played Call of Duty, which was several iterations ago, and I haven't played Call of Duty in years until I got this last one. But several iterations ago, I saw respawns. I'm like, what is this? Respawns? And so you don't have to be that good. You can just die and run back out there and throw your body at somebody. You know what I mean? And that was whack to me. And then I started seeing like in my game mode, the search and cyber attack would pop up, and I started to realize, all right, these have rounds, and this is communication. And they can't just run out there and get, killing somebody on search or not search, sorry, but like domination or something or team deathmatch. It doesn't mean too much because they can just gonna respawn and come back at you and know where you're at. And they even get a kill camera to say, hey, this is where he was at and it's where he shot you from. Like, come on, what the hell, dude? How much assistance do you need? So I really enjoyed SOCOM, and so that's kind of why I think I linked better with playing search, and it's just more objective based, So
listen, it's fucking crazy. Like I don't know how anybody could play team deathmatch. First off, I don't know how anybody could play anything in core, even though like all the professional Call of Duty guys play core. It's like bullshit, dude. It's fucking hardcore or die. And
yeah,
I'll play domination if I'm trying to rank up a gun or something like that. But dude, it's fucking hardcore search if I'm actually trying to play, or it's fucking Warzone. Just because at the end when you fucking win in Warzone, dude, like it feels like.
I'll admit I haven't played much Warzone. I played like 2 Warzone games, right?
Yeah, you gotta have a squad, man.
Yeah, I played 2 Warzone games, and the guys I was with kind of weak, and I was like, whatever, you know what I mean? So I haven't given it a solid shot. But that's one thing. I tried to get on like a pro team or whatever for Call of Duty. Like, it's core, and I was like,
yeah, fuck that, dude.
Ooh, it's gonna be a hard pass for me.
Yeah,
so I just chilled out. You know what I mean? Now, if you're paying me $3 million, like this dude Ninja or whatever, to play, I'll get better at core. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there's going to be fucking people that are making money playing hardcore, like, and it doesn't even have to be the fucking pro guys either. Like, to be pro, you're just making money. Like, if I can get some sponsors and fucking put up a Call of Duty stream, and dude, I know guys making money playing Minecraft. Like, holy shit, man. Like,
well, one of the first times the first event, the invitation I went to was at Subspectrum in Iowa. And after the event, when Jordan Pete's been right back, and we went by his friend's house, and I walk in, and they're all around the TV, and I'm like, what are they doing? No one has a controller. They're watching some dude play Fortnite. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, what is going on here,
dude?
Why wouldn't you just play? I don't get it.
Yeah, dude. Like I would love people to watch us play games, but I don't understand how people watch. Like, it's got to be all 12-year-olds, And the other thing is, like, you've played with me before. Like when I'm in fucking like, and we'll have to play again soon because I've gotten even fucking angrier. Like when I play Search and I'm talking shit to people between the teams, I had to change my gamer tag so it wasn't linked to my Instagram account because my wife was getting all mad at me. She's like, dude, you can't say that. Someone will come after you and like tear down your business. I'm like,
oh yeah, let's talk shit.
Yeah, I get it.
So I drop my tag in there a lot of times to get followers. I'll be like, yeah, hey, follow me on Instagram. Bam, and I'll drop my tag. And so I'll be catching some people that I'm friends with on Call of Duty or I play with, and they just follow, you can't fight. I'm like, bitch.
Dude, you are a much better person than I am because if I drop my shit on Instagram, I'd be getting hate mail nonstop for the shit that I say in between rounds of Search and Destroy.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Oh, my God. Like, and dude, did you play like the original Modern Warfare?
I think I did, yeah. Or at least.
Do you remember how hardcore those lobbies were?
Oh, yeah, they went hard.
Oh, my God. Like, people wonder why I'm fucked up. I'd say a big portion of it is like the original Modern Warfare lobbies because they went fucking hard.
Super hard on Xbox Live.
Dude, and now we're in like this PC culture of like cancel culture and all this shit. And I'm like dropping some mad slurs and shit in the shit. And everyone's like, you can't say that. I'm like, have you guys not been in lobbies before? Like, this is what you do.
Yeah, this is what it's about, man. If you ain't talking shit, you ain't playing, dude.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, I think I'm going to get off and play some Call of Duty now. Is there anything else you want to say? You got me fucking jonesing.
I appreciate you, man. I'm about to go train, so.
All right, dude. Good talking to you, Jordan. I'll off here. We'll do this again soon.
Yes, sir. You be safe.
All right, you too, dude.
Later, man.
All right, that was Jordan Hawley. I fucking love that guy. If you want to play, I know James is down here. We're supposed to play with him soon, but if you want to play Call of Duty with me and Jordan, just comment below. Maybe once I get a capture card, me and Jordan will go live and do some shit together. But one more time, shout out to the sponsors. Let's go have a shot of Freedom Whiskey. Have a shot of freedomwhiskey.com, cbdumi.com/Starlord, Liberty Ammo, www.libertyammo.com. Use code Starlord, 10% off there. Trust me, all the shit on here that's sponsoring me is stuff that I believe in. Ammo, whiskey, coffee, CBD, and jiu-jitsu gear. Like, that's my life right there. And if you want to be a fraction of I don't want to say cool, but if you want to be like a cool fucking dude, drink some whiskey and shoot some guns and do some jiu-jitsu. So you guys stay safe. I'm going to go play some Call of Duty. And, see you guys later.